Things break. My stuff breaks just like everybody else's. All right. Well, the saga continues, guys. It may have killed the starter. Okay. It's only 9 volts. Hey guys, it's Morgan coming back to you with the fix of Loretta, the game changer. If you have not watched that other video showing what happened to this motor and why it broke during a race and caused me to not finish a race, check it out. Go find it. It's not that far back in the library here, but I'll give you a quick recap. Bike was working perfectly. Bike has been perfect for 165 hours. Really no problems because of KTM or anything like that. I've caused my own couple problems, but really the bike has been amazing. Super happy with it. Took it to a race in Aztec, New Mexico. Practice went well. The morning of the race went well. Everything was good. Lined up for the race. Got a hole shot. Absolutely crushed it. The bike running really, really well. Got out in front. Cased a jump. Not bad. I mean, it was fine. Didn't crash or anything like that. Charged out into the desert. And all of a sudden, I heard a click. And the motor shut off, and that was it. It locked up the rear tire eventually. Didn't do it right away. We took the ignition cover off. I fortunately have blown up enough two-strokes in my life. That's where I feel like I am a little different than a lot of these other YouTubers that have channels, big channels, and they talk about how experienced and how amazing and how brilliant they are. They usually do it like this. I've been doing this for 75 years. I know more than every one of you people. So don't disagree with me. Like, I am better than everyone out here. I'm not that guy. I'm definitely not better than anyone out there, but I do have a lot of experience blowing things up. I also have a lot of experience fixing things and being around them and riding and all that, but I have blown up a lot of freaking motorcycles. And so when I heard the noise, it didn't sound like or feel like a motor. I thought it was because the way it all shook out, but it didn't, initially just didn't seem like it. So we took the ignition cover off first, found out that the Bendix was absolutely junk. It must have stuck out, or I don't really know what happened. Maybe I hit my chest on the bars when I cased that jump and it came out and I was wide open to try to like counteract the fact that I was casing a jump, and it stuck out. Or maybe it happened when I started the race and I was, just like fired up in the moment, and I held the start button down too long and held the bike on and it stuck out and it got hung up and eventually locked up and caused problems. I don't know what happened, but it happened and it caused me to not finish a race. So Bendix is junk, took it apart. Honestly, the bushings in here are not very good. They don't look bad. We're going to take a look at them here in just a second. I have not replaced them yet. But I decided, let's fix this thing the right way and make it really, really good. So we got a new OEM Bendix coming. And even though the Bendixes are back ordered from KTM, my local dealer, that's where I buy all my OEM parts if I can. I went there, they said, KTM says Bendix is back ordered, no ETA. I'm like, oh. But I went on to Rocky Mountain ATV MC, the biggest sponsor of this channel, and sure enough, they had 10 plus in stock. Now, I know in the past, Rocky Mountain's little showing of like their quantities have been a little suspect, but that has changed, guys. It's a big change actually in that company. I don't know if it happened when they sold the company to the employees or what, but they changed it. Everything they say they have now is actually in stock in the warehouse in Utah. Now, obviously mistakes can still be made. Things can still happen, but it used to be that they were drop shipping from dealers and things like that. Now, if it says it's there, they believe that it is actually in hand in Utah. So sure enough, they had the part and it's on the way. So I had to buy it. By the way, it's not free from Rocky Mountain. I do get a discount just like you guys do. I don't get any more of a discount than you guys do. The difference is if I use my link, I get a little bit more money back. So I guess it costs me a tiny bit less than it does you guys when I buy that stuff. But anyway, I bought it. You guys want to help us out. You want to support this channel, help us to do more cool, awesome content, bigger stuff, hopefully in the future. Please use that link It's in the description below. Also, you can bookmark my page, highland-cycles.com, and the very first picture, the home page of that thing, is the shop with a Rocky Mountain logo. Click that picture, it goes to our link in Rocky Mountain and all that good stuff. So anyway, but as I was saying, the bushings, the OEM bushings are a little bit suspect in these. They're like an aluminum bushing with a Teflon coating, which isn't horrible, but it's also not great. They don't seem to hold their shape or their size that well, even if the Teflon isn't worn up. And like the aluminum will kind of squish and move, and so you get some movement in there. That could have been part of what was going on. Also, I did not maintain the starter Bendix at all. I'm going to show you that, guys, so make sure you stay tuned for the video, show you what installation and maintenance looks like. So I decided not only get a new OEM Bendix from Rocky Mountain, I ordered the XRC bronze bushings from Tokyo Off-Road. That guy, Tokyo Off-Road, is freaking awesome. That dude is super, super cool. I checked out his channel. I actually checked it out a little while back. That guy is a phenomenal mechanic. He's like the opposite of us in some ways. I feel like we're very, very good mechanics here. We do very, very good work. But his stuff is like crazy clean. Like you could eat off of all those bikes he's working on. And he does a better job with his camera of showing things, honestly. He's a better YouTuber than me when it comes to that stuff. He's incredible. But he likes our channel, and I got a hold of him, and he actually sent me the bushings for free. Thank you so much. He also sent me a cool tool that I'll show you guys here in a bit. So we got bronze XRC bushings. Let's pull this thing up in the air, take the cover off, and I'll show you where we're going. All right, guys, I wish you could smell this right now because it still smells hot. So you can see that bushing is not good. Let me grab my flashlight. Got a flashlight here. You can see it doesn't look awesome. Definitely Teflon worn off of it. And then the one in there, it's got grease on it still. So this one has no grease left. That one still got grease. It looks better. But we are going to get rid of those things, and we're going to put in the good ones. So I need to get a tiny blind bearing puller, and we'll get those things out. But guys, sorry, I didn't show you because I thought I was going to be looking for a blind bearing puller, but I actually pulled this one out with these Van pliers. I think I've shown you guys these before. These things are absolutely freaking awesome. They got cutters, normal plier thing. They got that part right there. See how it's rounded? That is the coolest thing ever. Anyway, these things are awesome. They're made in Japan, and they're freaking rad. So I think I got them from my Matco guy. It's not a Matco product, but anyway, that just pulled out with this. Let's see if we can get a hold of that one in there with these, because actually my small blind bearing puller is at my house. All right, guys, I'm having a hard time because my tiny blind bearing puller is at the house, and I don't want to go home. There's actually no one here with me today. Leandra isn't feeling well. Richie's moving. Anyway, I can't leave. So we are going to get this done without ruining anything, and I'm going to show you a cool trick. I think it's going to work. I hope it works, because if it does, you guys will have a new trick in your bag. Obviously, the outer one came off. That's cool. Now, the inner one, I cannot get to it with the pliers. It's actually flush. It's actually still in really good shape. This outer one's the one that failed and had the problems. But so what we're going to do is we're going to get some grease. We're going to pack it in there. This bolt, it's 8 mil, fits real nice and tight in there. And what we're going to do is we're going to put grease in the hole. It's going to hopefully go behind the bushing, because there is a little bit of space behind the bushing. Then as we hammer this in, the grease won't compress, and it will hopefully push that bushing out. Let's see if we get lucky. All right. There you go, full of grease. By the way, this is an old school technique. Hopefully this fits tight enough. There we go. Now we need to be able to hammer on that without hitting the flywheel, so I gotta go grab a Torx bit. 1 second. Haha! Yeah, it worked. See if you guys can see. It's like, There you go. You can see how it's sticking out. It pushed it out just a little ways. I should be able to grab it with the van pliers now. Yeah, the Bean Ranch.
Yeah, that way.
Uh-huh. Yeah, going great. Yeah, absolutely. Ha! It worked! How cool is that, guys? That is so cool. As long as you can get grease in and it gets behind the thing, that system works. And you gotta have a nice tight seal on the thing that goes in it. But that worked freaking awesome. So now I'm gonna grab some brake cleaner. I'm gonna clean this whole thing really, really, really well. Get all clean, and I'll show you how we're installing those XRC bronze bushings. All right, guys, got those surfaces nice and clean. The important parts, I mean, obviously there's some dirt and what, anyway. The important parts are nice and clean. All right, so now let's take a look at these bushings. Mark from Tokyo Off-Road is honestly an amazing man. He got these things to me from Tokyo in 2 days, which I just can't even understand. I have no idea how much that must have cost, but thank you very much. So here are the bushings, really, really nice. Bronze bushings. Comes with an installation tool to make your life easier. And honestly, these things are cheap anyway. They're $29.99 for the tool and everything. So, all right, so I watched Mark's video on how he installed them, and he had a great point. He said, take these things and see if they fit without a press. So like that one, see how it just fell in? Okay, so that one we're going to need to put a different kind of thread locker. It's not thread locker, but seal sleeve retainer on. It will come back out. It's now, but that's probably because that thing was worn out and got hammered. Now let's see if this one fits the same way. All right, so trying to test fit this one, it does not. So that one's gonna have to be pushed in there. So really, this one probably won't need any sleeve retainer, but we're gonna put a little bit on there anyway. And there's two different kinds. He mentions it in his video. I'll try to link his video. He uses the brand that I don't want to talk about, so I'm not going to talk about them. But they make sleeve retainer. They make some that will take up bigger gaps, and some that take up, you know, just for really tight gaps. So we're going to put those on here, and we're going to drive these things in. All right, I got a block of wood here because I'm not taking this thing down and, you know, putting it on the ground or anything like that. So let's see. There's a flat part. You want that flat part up, at least mostly up. So like that. All right, I got a block of wood here because I'm not taking this thing down and, you know, putting it on the ground or anything like that. So let's see. There's a flat part. You want that flat part up, at least mostly up. Like that. Get tight right at the end, which is good. But I'm going to go ahead and still tap it with the tool. There we go. You want to make sure you don't get that sleeve retainer inside. That's bad. Bad news. If you get that inside the bushing. I mean, it's not the end of the world as long as you catch it. But you want to make sure, if you do, make sure you catch it and get that out of there. Get it cleaned out. Got that one in. Again, I might, if I had to really beat on that thing to get it in there, I might have laid this thing down, but that would help protect it. And by the way, I am using the company's sleeve retainer that I don't want to talk about because Stuck Nuts does not have that stuff yet. They don't have the sleeve retainer, you know, all the different products out, so. But I refuse to talk about those guys because I don't like them, so. All right, we'll go with this one. Same thing, put the flat part up. And then we're just gonna tappy tap tap. Nice and easy. Boom. There we go. And you wanna make sure it's all the way in there flat and everything. I'm gonna slide that in and give her a couple more. I'm gonna clean that up. Now, Now we're moving on to the maintenance part of this video. I'm still actually waiting for that Bendix to show up. It's going to be here this morning, so hang on. Don't worry, it'll be here. I tracked it. So now here's the thing, guys, with these maintenance. Now what you don't want to do is lube the inside of that Bendix with any kind of grease or anything like that. I've kind of wondered about why not, because usually the reason they don't want you doing something like that is they don't want it to harden up. They don't want it to attract any kind of dirt. This shouldn't attract any dirt because it's all sealed up. Now, there's a vent on this case cover to help keep it you know, from building any kind of pressure. If any water does get in there, it drains back out, all that stuff. So yeah, I don't know if it's that. I think it's more about it not getting old and hard and then keeping it from opening. But what they do want you to do is lube these bushings. So you want some lube in there, and you know, people talk about grease, they talk about other things. You know, the Mark from Tokyo Off-Road, he says to use some sort of oil that won't get hard. So I am going to use a little bit of fork oil, 5-weight fork oil. We're going to just drip a tiny bit in there. They're bronze bushings, so the bronze itself is self-lubricating to a point. So, and they are a wear item, guys. Bronze bushings don't last forever. They're going to last a really, really, really long time, but they don't last forever. So be prepared that sometime in the future, if you keep a bike long enough, you're probably going to have to pull these bushings out and put new bushings in. So let me go get a little bit of 5-weight fork oil. I'm going to drip some in there. Got our oil, just a tiny amount. That one's going to be hard. I'm just going to dip the Bendix end into this. And then when the Bendix shows up, I'm going to show you what I do, or what I didn't do on this Bendix, but what I'm going to do on this new Bendix moving forward, and what I have done on my old Bendix on my 18 that I sold. I sold that bike recently to our friend Rich, who is not a flight risk anymore. He paid me for the bike. I'm going to show you what I did on that that's made it last way over 500 hours. So yeah, let's put this thing down and we'll wait for that Bendix to show up. All right, FedEx showed up, boys. Let's take a look, make sure they sent us the right thing. Again, this was just as if I was anyone else on earth. I just ordered this on Rocky Mountain. I used the Highland Cycles link, so I think I maybe got $2 back or something like that, which is pretty cool. Super happy about that. And literally no one else had these things. KTM didn't have them. My dealer didn't have them. I didn't call everybody on earth, but I talked to everybody that was even halfway local, and they didn't have them. So I got them. I'm excited. Now, looks like we did get the right thing. And I got a gasket because I wanted that just to make sure. So let's answer a question that a lot of people have been asking, is where was this made? Because I keep getting things from KTM Gas Husqvarna now that say made in China, made in Turkey, made in whatever. So let's take a look. This one was made in Italy. And this one made in AT. I'm guessing that means Austria. I cannot find the thing whether it says made in AT, but I feel pretty good that it's Austria. It's definitely not China, Taiwan, or whatever. Those are very clear to see, so that's good in my opinion. And not that China, like, I buy lots of things that come from China. I support a company that has things built in China. They support me. So I'm not against China, like, stuff overall, but I am against China as a government. Like, those people suck. They treat their people horribly. So honestly, I do my best to stay away from Chinese things. The reality is sometimes you got to do it. The other reality is there are normal, nice people in China. They have they have jobs. They don't get paid very well, but anyway, it's a weird world we live in. I wish we could buy everything made in the States or Europe or whatever, but the reality is that's almost impossible. So let's take a look at this Bendix. Oh man, does it ever look so much nicer. Everything looks good. New O-ring on this piece. Everything's nice and smooth. Yeah, I like it a lot. Now, let me show you what I'm going to do for lube on this. Now, I agree that you should not grease this up, like pack a bunch of grease down in here in the sprags and all that stuff. That is not a good idea. But this stuff, this WD-40 dry lube with PTFE is amazing. I'm not a big fan of, I don't lube throttle housings, throttle cables, any of that stuff, because all it does is collect dirt and then gum up and get nasty. But I had a problem with one years ago, right before Death March actually. It was hanging up being weird. Anyway, someone had this stuff and I sprayed it in there, it cleaned up, and it never had a problem again. It was the throttle housing that was causing the problem. So I like to use this stuff, and I didn't do it on the one that was on there, but I just take this, just a little bit, move it around, and this should spin one way and not, you know, and then come out that way. All right, now we're gonna take this over and install it. So you do not have to take the flywheel off. KTM would tell you have to take this flywheel off. You can sneak this thing in there. I'm not going to show you the close-up of me doing it, but you'll get it. You know, you got to line these teeth up with these teeth, and anyway, kind of squeeze it in there. But before I do that, I'm going to dip this into that fork oil and slide it in there so it adds a little bit of lubrication to the bronze bushing. Sneak that sucker in there. There we go, and you can feel it find its way home. And that fits already so much better than it ever did with the other bushings. It's like nice and tight. So now, the other thing that KTM tells us to do is to grease these teeth and these teeth. And honestly, guys, I don't know how that can actually help. They got this white lithium stuff. I'm gonna use this Motor X stuff. It's gonna fly off, I'm not gonna lie. It just goes into the case. So I don't know why they have you do it, because even the stuff they use ends up all over the case. So I don't know. I mean, I know what the point is. I know why you would do this, to keep these teeth. It's just like lubing splines on anything. You know, you want to lube that up, but like, I don't know. Doesn't make much sense to me, but we'll do it because they say to do it. And actually, guys, I forgot. I'm gonna pull this back out if I can. And I am gonna grease this because these touch the starter all the time. And these are, to me, this is probably more important. I'll show you up close. I'm just gonna mush that grease in there. And you guys comment below. I'm sure there's some better grease. I don't know. This has always been good. I've never had this be a failure. The Bendix obviously failed, and I didn't even do this on the other one. So I'm gonna keep that grease off of the Bendix, like where it goes into the bushing. And I'll put some more fork oil on it, or yeah. And again, while it's out, I'll go ahead and hit the gear that comes out and hits the flywheel. Again, make sure we don't get any grease down in the sprags or anything like that, because that will harden up and get old over time and cause this thing to not work well. Again, taking this, cleaning off excess, guys. It seems like, I don't know, it all seems silly if I'm honest, but it seems like these things do work better if you don't get actual grease inside that Bendix. I really do like the dry lube though. And by the way, buy that dry lube anyway. It's amazing. Jimmy Neihart, please get on here and give me a hard time about the fact that I said I couldn't find that, because I really couldn't find it, and then Jimmy just shows up with it and gave me his bottle. Because I'm a moron. So, okay, I feel like everything's got the lube it needs. Got a new gasket. There we go. I've got my Enduro Hog cover. I really like this cover, guys. You can go to firsttrackmoto.com/Highlands Cycles. Link is in the description from Ben Nicholson, our good friend at First Track Motorsports. He sells these things, ships them all over the world. I like it a lot. It keeps my boots off of the nice cover. Yeah, it's dirty underneath there, but it's fine. And this adds one more layer of protection. Actually, you can see got some big dings in it that didn't scratch or damage the actual cover. So I like this a lot. He sells a set that goes right and left because I have one on the clutch cover too. So I like it a lot. But the one thing when you're installing, you got to kind of like, you got to kind of like hold it up here and see which holes are blocked off by the cover. Make sure you put your normal bolts in there. All right, we got it all on there. Let's see if it starts. Oop, I'm in gear. And let's hope it didn't kill my starter when all that happened, but I know the bike is in gear, so hopefully we're good. All right, guys, got her neutral. Hopefully, we'll see. Whoa. It may have killed the starter. All right, guys, so it looks like the saga is going to continue because now I'm gonna check the voltage on the battery, see if there's something going on there. But I have a feeling that when that thing got stuck out, it was actually out for quite a while. That's why it got so blue. I wish I could find that dumb Bendix. I don't know where it went. But anyway, if you watch the other video, see how blue the end of it is. I think that means it was stuck out for a long time. And then it finally got so hot and locked up. And then while it was doing that, it turned the starter motor over and ruined it. But let's take the seat off and we'll check voltage and see. So see how auto it actually is. So just ground, positive. Ah, okay. It's only 9 volts. So that's interesting. All right, let's hook this thing up to a charger for a while and we'll come back. Maybe it's not dead. We'll see. All right, so sadness has ensued. Starter motor, I'm pretty sure is junk. It's just making weird noises. I got the thing up to 12 volts and I don't know. It's not good. I'm 99.9% sure it's bad. The thing about these bikes, normally in the past, and I think probably still now, but we're going to find out. Starter motor, you had to take the motor out of the frame. Well, the saga continues, guys. The starter motor's ordered. Should be here soon. It's probably not, the video is probably not going to be up anytime real soon because of all the stuff that's going on with Baja and all that. But make sure you subscribe and we will, we'll get this motor out of the frame, drain the coolant, whatever, all the things, unplug it. So make sure you subscribe. I know it's a little bit of a cliffhanger. And I'm super duper sad that the starter motor is also junk. It makes me sad in my heart, but things break. My stuff breaks just like everybody else's. This bike was good for a very, very long time without any issues, but here we are. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you on the next one.